Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Northeast Racing Happy Hour. I'm Andy Crane. That's Gary Pridmore. And I'll tell you what, Gary, we were coming in hot, getting ready for this one, because I literally straight off the basketball court, coaching my modified basketball team and into the hot seat. And boy, what a power-packed show we have tonight. Really excited about it, and excited to talk some pavement racing here on the Happy Hour.
Yeah, I was thinking that when the intro was playing. It's all dirt car stuff, you know. We're a little out of our element tonight. Well, I am anyway. You're not. I am.
This is it. This is my wheelhouse right here. We got not one, not two, but really three great guests tonight on the Happy Hour. First, we're going to kick it off with Woody Pitkat and his exciting news that he's returning part-time to the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour with an old team. He had a stellar 2022 season. He really stood up to his nickname, the Sultan of Stafford Motor Speedway. And right after that, a guy that you say maybe had a little bit better season than Woody. He is the Racing America 2022 Driver of the Year. And that, of course, is the original big money, Matt Hirschman. And we'll talk about his big win at the Stafford Motor Speedway and the greatest race in the history of spring, the 50th annual Spring Sizzler. We'll talk about his SRX experience and how it was like racing with those guys. And really, a driver, and the only one I can really compare it to is a guy like, you know, Dale Earnhardt Jr., obviously on the biggest level, but like for us, for the dirt racing fans, like a Billy Pouch Jr., a young man who was in his dad's shadow and has had such a stellar career and made a name for himself. That's Matt Hirschman in a nutshell. And he's done a lot of cool racing too that we'll talk about. And we'll wrap things up, talk a little go-kart racing, a track that's near and dear to my heart, the Poughkeepsie Speedway on Route 55 in beautiful Poughkeepsie, New York. We have their new promoter, Mary Dwy, and we got some funny stories really about her and her husband and I racing years and years and years and years ago. But to kick things off, let's talk the opening round here. And he might have announced it on our show. We're not really sure. The internet was so bad last week. He might have said it and nobody picked up on it. But Brett Deyo going NASCAR with the Advanced Auto Parts weekly series with Georgetown, with Utica Rome, with Fonda, and Gary. In all honesty, I think that's a huge deal.
Yeah, absolutely. It puts money back into the drivers, you know, so that always helps. You know, he's been catching a little lash about it. You know, you can't make everybody happy, but me personally, I think it's a great idea for him.
You know, and say what you want about NASCAR, and you say what you want about the Cup Series, the Xfinity Series, the Truck Series. Yes, they get the most eyeballs. I understand it. But NASCAR and their weekly racing series and what they run is really second to none. And I had a little bit of experience. Well, I've had a lot of experience with it, honestly, both on the outside and on the inside. And, you know, we ran it for 2 years at the Bethel Motor Speedway, at least the 2 years that I was involved with it. And we were taken care of. We were taken care of really well. We, you know, for our second place and our third place finishing points, we were paid really well that we normally don't get. And we weren't even the top division. Right. I know the Lightning Bolt, Skip LaPolte, was the Rookie of the Year for New York State. He got to go down to Charlotte, was, you know, treated like a king at the banquet. And, you know, that's all stuff that, you know, when you're just a standalone type of deal that you're not going to get. I don't care how big you are. And I'll tell you what, I'll share a quick story before we get to our first guest who's on the line waiting with us now. Talking to the late, great Doug Hoffman. And he won, I want to say it was either the national championship or the regional championship. Either one. It paid over like $100,000 for the championship. And I remember talking to Doug Hoffman about it. And he was like, if Glenn Donnelly wasn't as good as he was and didn't have, you know, his thumb on everything in Northeast modified racing, all the tracks in the Northeast would be NASCAR. That the only reason the dirt tracks didn't was because of Glenn Donnelly. And he made more money winning that championship than all of his purse winnings and all of his championship winnings, because he won like 3 track championships that year. All of it combined, NASCAR paid him more by like plenty. And this is the opportunity now. These drivers at Fonda, at Georgetown, at Utica Rome, all have a chance, and especially those drivers that do double duty in the modifieds at like Utica, Rome, and Fonda, they're getting more bites at the apple because it's your 18 best races. If you're getting 40 shots to have 18 really good ones, you got a really good shot to be very high up, not only in just state and regional points, but I'll tell you what, there's a good chance somebody could be the national champion racing on dirt at one of those tracks.
Yeah, I agree. And that's why I say the same holds true about the money. You know, that's what Deo was saying. To win that championship is still big bucks. So potentially somebody's able to walk away. I mean, you get somebody like a Matt Shepard that's full on capable of doing that. Big.
No doubt in my mind, Matt Shepard could be a NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series champion and pocket a ton of money.
Absolutely.
Ton of money. If he listen, it's going to be very hard for him to do it again. And you know what? We'll even talk about it with Woody Pitkat coming up because he won a NASCAR championship and he knows all about it in the regional thing when he won at Thompson. So
Stafford was NASCAR too at one time.
They were, and some got away from it. Some, and there's pros and cons to all of it, and I understand that.
Right.
I think for Brett's deal, it makes perfect sense for his 3 tracks that he gets to control to be in the NASCAR fold. And listen, I know I give this track a hard time now, but I think it's a great deal that Bethel is still NASCAR. For those who understand it now, they need to get the car count. The one thing that hurts us at the Bethel Motor Speedway is you got to get the cars, and that's a whole nother can of worms that we're not going to open tonight. But you know, if you can get the cars at these places, this NASCAR deal is really, really good. So that's a big, big deal. That Brett was sitting on that for a little while, I know, and it's a huge deal for Northeast Racing, dirt modified racing. And I think, honestly, it just advanced, no pun intended, the Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Racing Series. It just advances dirt modified racing even further forward now in our region, in the capital region area there where Fonda and Utica, Rome are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Gary, we got a huge guest ready to join us right now. And I'm really excited. This guy, he's a character for sure. I've known him for a long, long time from back in the Stafford Motor Speedway days. And actually, he does have a tie to dirt modified racing, which we'll talk about here in a second. But a huge year last year for Woody Pitkat and a huge year coming up for him. So let's get him on the happy hour and let's talk all about it.
All right.
And there he is, the sheriff, Woody Pitkat, ladies and gentlemen. What's up, Wood?
Not much. How are you guys?
We're doing okay. We're doing okay. So first, I saw another championship in the beer league hockey.
Yeah. Actually, this was the first time I ended up having to step up and be a captain of a team the past season. They were looking for captains, and I told them, I didn't really want to do it, but if you guys got stuck in a jam, let me know. And I ended up doing it. And of course, like anything in life, I take it, try to do the best that I can with it. So I was writing down notes and jotting players and their stats and this and that. And then, we come up to the draft and I show the guy that's running the league all my notes that I jotted down. And he has everything in a folder printed out. He said, "Man, how long did you do that?" I said, "Oh, I wasted 3 days doing this." My wife was asking me what I was doing in the back room, and I was telling her, "Listen, once we get to the draft, it'll go back to normal." So it was kind of funny to see, that he had all the work already done for me. So we put our team together. I was fortunate enough to get the first round draft pick. So I had 2 really, really good players. One guy was from Sweden, another guy was from Alabama, and they were just really ridiculous together. We lost two games throughout the season, and then the kid from Sweden went back to Sweden for the holidays, so we were a little concerned in the playoffs, but we were able to get it done. And I shut the door down in the championship game. We won 4-0, and it was really cool to be able to do that. I had a co-captain, Craig Stern, that I'm really good friends with, that lives next town over from me, that I have a pretty good relationship with. We, outside of hockey, we talk about racing and our kids and stuff. So it was really cool to have him on my team, and we won the championship, and we just started this past week. I was actually gone on vacation when they did the first game, and then I played this past Sunday. So we've started out 2-0 so far. So we're going to try to defend our title.
There we go.
Nice.
Cool stuff for sure. As primarily this show has been kind of a dirt modified show, and we're delving into now pavement racing with me kind of joining the show. But you actually have a connection to dirt modified racing. As a matter of fact, it's kind of been a big influence when you first started, where a driver you're related to is at Lebanon Valley.
Yeah, absolutely. I was actually a little jealous watching, the start of your show here, seeing all those videos and pictures of Lebanon Valley. Brings back a lot of memories. Obviously, when I was born, I was going right to Lebanon Valley. Both my uncles raced dirt modifieds. My uncle Mark did some asphalt modified racing as well as dirt. He won the Mr. Dirt race in 1992, I believe. It was 17,500 to win. He led the whole race, and that was a big memory of mine that sticks in my brain. There was a dead heat one night with Brett Hearn. My aunt made some shirts that said "Dead Heat My Ass" the following week that we sold. That was pretty cool. I also I remember that, but just a lot of great memories. I mean, we used to go to Lebanon Valley every weekend. We'd go in the summers. We'd go to Lake George. My dad had a boat, and my uncle had a boat, so we'd go out on the boat. Unfortunately, I don't remember my Uncle Jeff racing. I think my grandfather had passed away the same year I was born, or a year prior to when I was born, and he stopped racing. So it was just my Uncle Mark that was racing. And then, he went to law school, I believe in mid 2000s, stopped racing and went to law school to be a lawyer. But, yeah, I still try to get up there from time to time, but obviously, growing up in Stafford, I lived 7 miles from the track. Really, that was the only thing to do on Friday nights in the summer was go to Stafford. And when I was 14, I became close friends with Ryan Pasacco. His father actually sponsored my Uncle Mark when he was racing dirt modifieds. So we obviously had family relations with Ryan, and he started racing. I was a couple years younger than him, and I just, started watching him race and, obviously admired everything that he did. And, I got in a dare car, then he moved up to late models and ran late models, and then I obviously progressed and ran late models with him for a time, and then had an opportunity to run a modified, and, I jumped into that. And I guess, I could be here for hours. So we kind of got off the beaten path there with the dirt modified. So I'll let you take a look.
Listen, we never get off ever off the beaten path with a dirt modified.
Nope.
At least with a lot of this crowd for sure. But listen, let's talk 2022 for a second. You were driving for Eddie Harvey, a team based down south on the Wheeling Modified Tour. Doug Dunleavy out of Danbury bought the team, and you guys decided to do some open modified racing. And I'll tell you what, besides a couple bad races here and there, you really dominated all the open events at Stafford Motor Speedway this year, really living up to that nickname, the Salt in the Stafford, for sure. Tell us first the transition from Eddie to Doug getting the team, and going from the 1 car to the 88 car, which was really the same car, and then just all the great runs you had at Stafford this year.
Yeah, so that last year that I had ran for Eddie, we hired Cam McDermott as the crew chief. He's a driver in the past. He had helped me out in the years past. I won a state championship in 2013. He was actually my spotter. And he reached out to me in 2021 to try to do something with Eddie. So we got him on board, and him and Eddie didn't really see eye to eye for a while. And then, Eddie had been doing it for so long, so he had his way and Cam had his way. And then we finally got them to talk, and, towards the end of the year, we were able to do what Cam, started wanting to do. And we started to have some success. We still had, a couple of DNFs and stuff. And then at the end of the year, just financial wise, Eddie wanted to take a step back and gave Doug a very good opportunity to buy the team. And it was a no-brainer. And I think Doug kind of saw how we were all, gelling towards the end of that year. And he had always wanted to be a car owner, especially at Stafford. He has, really good ties with the Roots and sponsorships up there. He sponsors a race. And he really wanted to do something. So Eddie had a brand new car that we got, and we had sold one of the older cars, and Cam wanted to, build the car the way that he wanted to. So we let him build it the way that he wanted, And yeah, we came out, firing on all 8 cylinders. The whole team and everybody gelled together. I got some crew members that had come back that helped me back in my late model days, going back 14, 15 years ago. And it was just, it's one of those years that you never forget. Everything went pretty much the way that you'd want it to. It was fun at the races every night. Nobody got down on anybody. And we just had a blast. And, we won 3 races in a row. I feel like we really had a shot to win 4 in a row if we didn't get, wrecked. And Sizzler, we had a mechanical issue that we couldn't really do nothing about. But besides that, everywhere we went, we unloaded. We were fast. We were top 5 in practice, and we contended for wins. So that's all you can ask for.
Absolutely.
No, this team, it's not a surprise, Wood, that you run well at Stafford. I mean, you're third on the all-time win list right now. Both in second. I'm sorry. That's
Don't
right.
insult him like that.
There's some guys knocking right on my door. You got Tommy Fern that's been racing for 170 years. That's right on my back bumper. And you got Kid Rock that's not really a kid anymore, but he's there too. So you definitely got those guys, and they race there weekly, so they have a better chance to go past me, which is fine. But yeah, it's a when you look at that, that's a pretty huge accomplishment. You don't really take it with a grain of salt until you really look at it, and you're like, wow, look at what we have accomplished is a really big feat.
Absolutely.
No doubt about it. Tell us a little bit, kind of the transition we're seeing in modified racing right now to more of the open style competitions, kind of back in the olden days where they're not 150, 200 lap races like you see on the tour every week, but you're starting to see these kind of sprint races. I guess the question is, give me your thoughts of the overall health of pavement modified. I kind of asked the same question last week for dirt modifieds, but for the, all these open races coming up and, you're seeing kind of feeder touring series popping up as well, that pavement modified racing is kind of on a rebirth right now, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe so. I think you're seeing some of these shorter races, dashes like you were saying. It just came up at Thompson now that they're going to do 50 lappers instead of 80 lappers. I think with the, after COVID here with the tires, I think they're having issues, supplying of rubber or whatever for the tires. And obviously the price of everything has gone up, not just in everyday life, but with racing and everything. So to be able to not have to pit for tires, shorten the races, the payouts have been really good. I believe, some of these races that are running are for really good money. And it's just, you see everybody, obviously, when us having to sit down during COVID, everybody was gung-ho after that to get back to racing. So I still believe that that's the case right now. Hopefully there won't be too many series. You see series pop up from time to time or a couple one-off races. But I definitely feel like the modifieds right now, or asphalt modifieds are in a good place. You can go, if you're a low buck guy, you can go to like an MRS race, or you can try to run, the tri-track races, which I feel is probably the stiffest competition in all the modifieds. I know the Wayland Tour is really hard as well, but normally on the tour in the past, decade, you've seen usually the top 4, top 5 guys are the same ones that are up there every year. So where on the tri-track series, it can be, one of 18 or 20 guys that can win a race. So, everything looks good. Obviously Stafford does an amazing job. They're probably, to me, they're one of the best, short track races, not just in the Northeast, but probably in the whole country. Just the way that they do everything, the Root family, and now you see the Suns coming up and being more involved, and just all the updates they do every year, and the technology that they put into that place. Obviously, you see SRX going there. It's an unbelievable atmosphere, an unbelievable place to be. And, to me, I'm very proud to be able to, and honored to have that place be my home track and to recognize that as my home track, because they've done a phenomenal job down there.
And what do you guys race for on a weekly? What's the payout to win?
So with these open formats, especially this past year doing it, I really took a liking to it because I wasn't racing every week. I have young children now. My daughter's she's a teenager now, so life, is changing. Priorities are changing. So to be able to have some weekends off to do other things is definitely good. So we're able to go here, and be prepared because we don't race every weekend. We can be prepared 110% every time we show up. But those races at Stafford, they're usually 6,000 to win. The Thompson ones have been 5,000 to win.
Okay.
The Icebreaker at Thompson and the World Series is 10,000 to win. So last year at the World Series we had finished second, so we got a check for 5,000. And then obviously the Spring Sizzler. Again, the Roots just do an amazing job with getting the sponsors and getting contingencies and everything. I think it was 15,000 to win the Sizzler this past year, and now it's upwards to 20,000, plus lap money too. So
Right.
if you were to, I think I read an article last week that Ronnie Silk, obviously going to the Sizzler again. If you were to win the dual race, because they have like heat races like the duels on Saturday, which is 3,500 to win. If you were able to win the duel and lead like every lap of the feature and win the feature, you could win like $38,000 or something. It's just unheard of to think of something like that at a basically a weekly short track racing. But again, it's hats off to the Roots and Napa. I've been a huge supporter of Napa over there in town for so long, and again, it's just everybody involved. It wouldn't be possible without everybody, and I'm hoping to put my name on that trophy again, on that Sizzler trophy.
Great segue, as we're going to talk about as a winner of the Spring Sizzler in the past. Now, you won it back when it was a modified tour race. The new format, like it, 2 days, heat races, kind of the short track feel to the greatest race in the history of spring.
I definitely like it. I think it's nice because it breaks it up, to a 2 day, kind of like it was, back when the Sizzlers were you time trial on one day and then, race feature the next day. It's nice to be able to not jam everything all in one day, so the pressure's not as built up on you. You can practice, run your practice, try to position yourself in a good spot in the dual race to be, either win the duel or be up front. It's cool to be able to sit back and watch one of them. I was in the second one last year, so I could sit back and watch the first one for a little while, which was really cool to see what was going on. And then obviously it gives you an opportunity to go through the car again. Like we maintained the car on Sunday, changed the fluids and got everything nut bolted and everything, so we were ready to go to battle on Sunday. So I like the format. I was a little nervous at first. I don't remember their plus minus is a little bit different. I think it's kind of like the Chili Bowl, which is like, I don't know. I feel like you need to go to college to figure it out. There's a little chart on the handicapper's booth on the door that I always look at that I'm like, just take a picture of it and bring it with me, so I know like, okay, if I finish here, this is where I'm going to be. Because I'm more accustomed to like the act late model plus minus, where it's just originally you start third and you finish first, you're a +2, or if you start on the pole and you finish fifth, you're a -5 or -6. So it's not like that. So I still get a little frustrated with times with that, but at the end of the day, I know that I have a very good car. I feel like I have the best equipment. I have the best car owner. He's just like me. He's a character, like you said earlier. He's just like I am. I feel like I have the best crew chief. I think that, the more he works on the tour with Bonsignor, with Kyle, and they gel more together, you're going to see, good things with them on the tour. And the cast of crew that I have is second to none. We have unbelievable guys. Like I said, some people that have been there, years ago. I got one guy on there, Fatback, that's been there since pretty much the first time I started racing late models, and it's still there. So, like I said, I could be biased, but I have an unbelievable opportunity, I feel like, and that's one thing that you have to have, is you have to have every piece of the puzzle to work together, and that's what we have, and hopefully we can keep it rolling.
And the really cool thing, Wood, is not only do you have a great opportunity with one car, but for 2023 now, you have a great opportunity with kind of an old car reborn again as you return to the 6 car on a part-time schedule in the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. Tell us a little bit about that deal.
Yeah, I'm very excited for that. Stan Mertz is a guy that really, put me on the map, I guess I would say, with open modifieds before, I got the opportunity to drive for Buzz and Brian Shue, he had given me a call and asked me if I was going to an open race. And I said, no, I didn't have a ride. And he was kind of shocked. And I said, well, I feel like I haven't really proven myself, in a big, modified style touring, modified, just SKs I had success in, but I never really did anything with the full modified. So he gave me an opportunity, and we started as a small team with just a car and an engine, and it was really an SK, and we were running against, the big guys, and we were having really good finishes, and then we just, updated the car, each year. He's a guy that doesn't, skip on anything. He wants to give me the best opportunity to go out and win like everybody. And, we ran SKs. Well, we ran some open races, and then we ran SKs at Thompson. We won the championship one year, and then I think the following year we kind of both thought, all right, we needed to change, and then we went back to some tri-track races, and then when Stafford, opened up with the open races, we ran open 80 races, and we were fortunate enough to win one of those, sponsored by Twisted Tea, which is something that I've always really liked. So that was, a cool accomplishment, and we won some big races up at Lee when it was an SK style type car, and we've had really, really good success. And Stan's a guy. To me, he's not only just a car owner. He's more to me than just a car owner. He's a great friend. He's a great family person. He's always asking about my family. We try to get together when we can to do stuff outside of the racing, and we both have each other's backs. And I try to get over there and help him. Even this past year, when he had a different driver and I was running the 88, I still told him, nothing changes if I can, get over here and help you, because he's only 25 minutes away. If you need a hand unloading or cleaning or whatever, just let me know. If I can come over, I will. And just a great all-around guy. He loves racing. I'm super excited. I was a little, concerned because I know, this is something that he wants to do. This is kind of like a bucket, bucket thing for him, to be able to say that he was a Whalen Modified Tour car owner. And I thought it was going to be kind of too big of a piece to bite, but he's all over it. He's 100%, invested in doing it. He's been working really hard to get the supporting cast that we need to do it, and I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be really good. I think I really think we're going to surprise people with how we're going to run. I don't have wicked high expectations to, obviously go out there and run like the Bonds and Yours and the Cobys and the Silks and, contend for wins and poles and stuff. But I think we're definitely going to surprise some people, and I'm super excited for the challenge.
So looking at about half a dozen or so on the tour, and then all the open races with the 88, right? That's your 23 schedule?
Yeah, so I think there's 8 races on there, I believe. I was looking at it earlier. 7 or 8. There's the 2 Monadnocks. They're the shorter races that are around here, where you don't have to worry about pitting as much. It's pretty much you start the race and you just go to the end. There's 2 Monadnock races. There's a Lee. I think Claremont's on there. There's a Loudon race in July, which I'm looking forward to because I love going up there, drafting and stuff. It's like our Daytona with the modifieds. And then he wants to go North Wilkesboro at the end of the year, and one of the Thompson races, and I believe Seacock's on there too. So there's about 7 or 8 races. Obviously, if everything goes well, hopefully we'll be able to. He had mentioned maybe something about Martinsville, but that's still, we're just taking one race at a time. And start out here at Monadnock, and hopefully everybody works well together, just like the 88, and we'll have some success. And then we're going to do the same thing at Stafford, the open races at Stafford, and then we're going to try to run for the tri-track championship as well. We missed a couple races last year at the start of the year because Doug was getting a hip replacement. So we missed a couple, and actually started the tri-track series with Stan, which was cool to go to Thunder Row, first time ever there. So I'm wicked excited to go back there. That place was really cool. And, and then obviously, like I said before, with the Icebreaker and the World Series being 10,000 to win, those are 2 no-brainer races to go and try to challenge for those wins. So I think I was looking at about somewhere between 22 and 25 races, which to me is perfect.
So forgive me for not doing my homework, but the SRX series that goes to Stafford, I know Hirschman has done it. I don't know if you have. If you haven't, Is there any interest in trying that?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously, started in full fender. I raced dare stocks. When I was 16, I ran 2 years in dare stocks and then ran late models. Still had raced late models up until this past year at Thompson. I, stepped away from that now because I'll be running with Stan and just with the kids growing up, it's hard to get there on Wednesdays. So the first SRX year, Doug Covey did it. He did a phenomenal job. It was the first time I think they've ever been there, and I think that was the exception of the series. And we actually were watching it coming home from a tour race from Oswego, I believe, and it was really cool to see him win. He had some Don King decals. Don King was a car owner that I had raced for and worked for in the past. He gave me an opportunity to work on the race cars. James Savali had driven for him, and Doug had driven for him. So I had some stickers made after Don had passed away, and it was cool to see it. How he had it right on the front of his helmet. It was it just brought chills to me to see that in Victory Lane. It was really cool. And then this past year, we ran the night before, and I was talking to Ryan Newman a little bit. My crew chief Cam is friends with him a little bit, and so I had talked to him at the drivers' meeting, and tried to give him a little bit of pointers. He was behind me in practice, and Cam was like, "Oh, don't show him everything," So, but I think he definitely did learn. Obviously, he learned some things that he was able to use on the race the next night, and it was just cool to. I reached out to him. I sent him a text message, and I have friends with Joey Logano and some of these guys, and even Ryan and stuff, Crease. You kind of you don't want to bother them, so you just congratulate them, and it's usually a one-word answer. But with Ryan Newman, when I texted him and congratulated him, we talked probably for 25 minutes, just about our kids being at the track and how excited he was to be able to win and have his daughters in Victory Lane. So it was really cool to see. But yeah, I would definitely love to have the opportunity to run there. I feel like just racing late models there. I've won 2 championships there in the late models in the past. I'm hoping the ACT races now. They're having an ACT race that Saturday of the Sizzler when we're running the modified dual races. I have a guy up in upstate Massachusetts that has an ACT late model car that I've driven for in the past that I've had success in. We're hoping to have that car back together to run that race. And I don't know what it's going to entitle this year. I know last year it was you had to win the Sizzler to get the opportunity to run the SRX race. I'm not really sure what they're doing this year, but I'm all in for doing whatever I have to do or try to be as focused and prepared to do whatever I can to get the opportunity.
Yeah, it's a big success, it seems, up there. It sells the place out. It's definitely doing phenomenally well.
Yeah, absolutely. Don Hawk is a guy, that's running the series now that I've known. Years past, I had an opportunity to do a racing school, and he was running it. And now with the news of them going to ESPN now instead of CBS, it's going to be even bigger. The fact that ESPN is in Connecticut and the race is going to be in Connecticut.
Yep.
Just every year it gets bigger and bigger. Just to see on TV, to see the stands that full, it's just unbelievable. So it would definitely be a really, really cool feeling, and it would be, to me, it'd be something, a pretty cool honor to run for those guys, and kind of like a bucket list thing for me to be able to do that. So we'll see, what happens and how we're going to do it. But hopefully, if I could get an opportunity, I'd love to try to do it.
Well, I mean, you got Ryan Newman's phone number, so I'm sure he got a little pull somewhere.
Yeah, I don't have Kevin Harvick or Clint Boyle's number. So,
yeah.
With Ryan racing for Harvick now, he might have one up on me. But
sure.
like I said, whatever it is, I don't know how it's going to be. I have had people that think that I should be in that race because I'm second on the all-time wins list, and we all know, there's nobody, no doubt in my mind, nobody that would say that. Obviously, if Ted Christopher was still alive, he should be the one that should be running that race. He would be an animal out there. It'd be so much fun to watch. And then it could be, to me, the list would go either to me or Keith Rocco. I mean, he's run there for so long, and now you got a guy like Todd Owens that's having a lot of success there. I mean, obviously the list goes on and on and on who it could be or how it could be, but if it has to come down to winning the Spring Sizzler again, then it could be anybody. Just look at this
Right.
past year. Matt, you never would really think I think he's only raced one or two times, in the past. He ran the tri-track race in 2020, and finished second or third. And then, I think a lot of guys probably maybe, wrote him off just because of the fact that he hadn't ran it so, that much, didn't have that much seat time. But you can't write him off anywhere, obviously, because he shows up. He's got phenomenal, obviously driving ability, and he's got great notes, from that go way back from when his father raced, and even his brother, working with Kyle and in the upper ranks in NASCAR. I mean, just the list goes on and on. And when you see him at the racetrack, you can understand how he's so successful, because he takes it like a job. He's in that mode every time. He's serious. When you talk to him, he's serious. I'm more of a little bit laid back, joking guy. I like to have fun, and which I'm sure he does too. But you can just tell that one of the reasons why he's so successful is because to him it's a job. Honestly, it's a job, and I'm sure he makes a living doing it, and makes good money doing it, and hats off to him for his success.
Absolutely.
Well, Woody, we wish you the best of success for 2023. We appreciate you jumping on with us, and give us a lot to talk about this year, because we're going to talk a lot of pavement racing on this show, and I'm sure we're going to be talking a lot about you. So get it done this year.
All right, I appreciate it. I'll do the best I can, and hopefully we can have another stellar year like we just did.
Cool.
There
Thanks
we go,
for
ladies and gentlemen. He is the Sultan of the Stafford Motor Speedway, one of the most popular drivers ever to sit behind the wheel of an open wheel modified, Woody Pitkat, joining us here on the Happy Hour.
Thanks,
All
guys.
right.
See you,
Take
Wood.
care.
Yeah.
All right, so Matt is in the back, so we can ready to pop him on.
Let's pop him up.
All right. We didn't get time to test out his audio, so we're hoping for the best.
And there he is. Matt Hirschman joining us here on the Happy Hour right now. And Matt, thank you for taking some time. Gary and Andy, ready to talk a little bit of racing with you.
I'm ready. You guys hear me all right?
Perfect.
We got, listen, like anything, Matt Hirschman has everything perfect, just like on that race car. Matt, what a 2022 season, Racing America's Driver of the Year, 28 wins, the win of the 50th annual Spring Sizzler, big wins down south, and an SRX event. I mean, does it get any better than what you just had?
I would say that was the best season I've ever had, but we're about to embark on a new season here in just a few weeks, and we'll go out and try and top that again. But it will be tough. Definitely start to finish a very complete season. Really put together a great year with big wins throughout, and just to bookend it with a big win to start and a big win to close it, and then just a whole bunch in between as well.
Now, out of all 28, if I ask you which one's your favorite, what would you say?
Well, yeah, I've been asked that a lot, and the biggest one was the Spring Sizzler, just being the 50th anniversary of the event, and what a big deal it was, because it was kind of an all new format, and there was a lot of hype leading up to it, and then it delivered. The race delivered. Obviously, I was a part of that with Ryan Preece. The race and the finish. It was, I think it was one of, if maybe not the best race of the year. I think a lot of times at the end of the season, when they give out the awards for things like that, I think you're a little bit more a prisoner of the moment. You're thinking of the most recent stuff. I think is fresh, but being that was all the way back in April, I think it missed out on probably some of those awards of being the race of the year. But I certainly put it right up there. Maybe was the best that I was a part of. So, it was just a big deal. Obviously, the win and you're into the SRX was, because that was a great experience, and there was a lot of lead up and build up and hype to that as well. So, from winning the Spring Sizzler until the beginning of July when the SRX race was, that was certainly a busy few months, probably the busiest I've ever had, just with things going on both on the racetrack and off the racetrack. And like I said, it turned out to be a great experience. Wasn't really quite the showing or results I would have liked to have had, but nonetheless, winning the Spring Sizzler and getting that opportunity probably was the highlight of the season. But there were many others, that were right up there. But if I have to pick one, that's been the one I've been saying.
And even on top of it, kind of being a father-son duo to win it. My first race that I announced at the Stafford Motor Speedway was when your dad won the Spring Sizzler way back when. And, for you to kind of top it and have your dad there in victory lane, just had to be kind of the cherry on top, right?
Yeah, that was a big part of it. Like I said, the whole build up to it being the 50th anniversary and having so many previous winners in attendance. I got to be honest, at that time I was standing there thinking, damn, I wish I was already on this, part of this group or on that list. And I had raced in a few Sizzlers back in the mid 2000s, late 2000s, and then just only a few after that. So I didn't have much recent experience in the Sizzler, but I was kind of thinking, damn, I wish I would have been already a previous winner. But winning the 50th and one of the probably more memorable of the 50 in terms of the race and the crowd that was on hand and just all the things that went along with it. I wouldn't trade it now for anything, but it was certainly a big deal. That's for sure.
I mean, and you had to be relieved when finally the checkered flag came out, because you guys had 7 or 8 cautions in like 4 or 5 laps that just didn't seem like those last couple laps you could get going, and you and Ryan being tooth and nail and really sparks flying on the backstretch to make that pass for the lead.
Yeah, it was back and forth. We traded the lead on restarts, and the sparks that flew on the backstretch was from me hitting the wall, not us hitting each other. So it was a great race, really was. It was one of those races that obviously you always want to be the one that comes out on top or the winner. But when you have a race like that and two guys can shake hands after and know that they gave it everything they had, but they also raced with respect and did everyone proud, really. I believe, that was regardless of who came out on top. I think everyone, that was a part of those teams and parents and fans and everybody really, I think should have been proud of the way that race finished. And like I said, yeah, I was fortunate to be the one that came out on top, but that was something to be proud of for sure.
And as you mentioned, it came with a starting spot in Tony Stewart's SRX series at the Stafford Motor Speedway. The first time you walked into that paddock area and you look around and you see all these big name drivers, what was that feeling like?
Well, I was there on Friday, and then the modifieds race Friday night, and I got to watch, and there was certainly there were people around, and there was a lot of things going on, but it wasn't until Saturday morning when you walked in there, and all of a sudden, Stewart was there, and Andretti was there, and all those guys were around. They just most of them came in the morning, and then it was like, all right, now it's about to get real for sure. So it was again. I mean, I kind of touched on a little bit before. I went into it really knowing nothing, and what I know now or after the race, what I learned in that short amount of time, I wish you had the chance to go back again, a week later or whatever. And I know immediately I would have already, raised up my performance and just my performance level, I think would have been much higher. Just knowing what I, learned in that short amount of time. So, but like I said, being the ringer guy and, the race, it was, I believe I think the third race of the season, actually it might've been the fourth. I think it was the third or fourth race. The regular guys had already been doing it consecutive weeks. And, we kind of you just get thrown into it there for a short amount of time. And, it's tough because you're not, you're dealing with guys that are obviously great, accomplished drivers. And then on top of that, they've got more experience and recent experience in that. So would I love to do it again? Absolutely. And, that would be something to build on. But if not, it was a great experience. And the folks that were part of SRX, made me feel very welcome, and it was an enjoyable experience.
Was there any added pressure that Doug Kobe went out and won the first race of the season, being the modified guys who are supposed to clean up at Stafford?
Well, I mean, it's not been done since at any track. So, Doug, I was very, happy and proud of him for winning that. I congratulated him that night. I sent him a message as we were racing that night at Oswego. So I was very, very happy that a modified guy had won. And I'm not taking anything away from his accomplishment at all. But it certainly had to help that it was new to everyone. No one had even sat in one of those cars. They didn't allow even the drivers to test them or anything. They had test drivers and things. So they all started with a blank sheet of paper that day, and had nothing to go by. And that certainly had to help his chances. And I'm not saying that, he couldn't do it again. I certainly think that he could. But that certainly everyone was on the same playing field there starting that day. And obviously they did 5 more races after that. And then I believe, like I said, another 2 or 3 or so this year prior to Stafford. So, but like I said, it was more about the experience, and I kind of realized that after the fact. But certainly, I walked away, or walked off the track that night, wishing I had done better. But it was still a great experience.
All right, let's get back to where you're really, really good, and that's driving that 60 car. And really, some people might not know, you kind of split your time between 2 teams. You drive for the PD Motorsports team that's based down south, and then you drive your family's number 60 car. And you're really the one that everybody kind of points to, kind of started I'm going to pick the races I know I can run really well at, and not chase, like the Wheel and Modified Tour or something like that. So give us a little background of how you pick your races that you go to, what goes into it, your strengths, weaknesses, stuff like that.
I mean, it's just something that's, I've kind of consistently been doing. I was a big supporter of the open shows back before they were really tied together by when Tri-Track was formed and things like that. And, I had been supporting those events. But when Tri-Track was formed, it really strengthened those races. And of course, I was on board right away because those were races I already had been competing in, and I wanted to see them succeed and if anything prosper. And when Tri-Track was formed, they did. And I've just continued to do that, and I still dabble in other racing. We did some wheeling races. For the last, I would say 5-6 years, we've done at least, 3 to 4 races. And then this year we increased that probably to about half the schedule. We got to race the last couple years, some with the Smart Modified Tour down south. And that was, a place where modified racing was nearly dead. And that deal came together and really grew fast in a short amount of time, and enjoy running with that group. So like I said, and Race of Champions in New York State, always enjoyed going to those tracks and racing with that group, and still enjoy doing that. And then some of the few open shows that remain, like the North-South Shootout and the Turkey Derby. Those are traditional events we always seem to we always attend and seem to do well at.
We asked Woody Pitkat the same question, and really it's kind of one that would fit right up your alley. The overall health of modified racing right now today, compared to where it was 10 years from now, as you just said, the ROC, the Tri-Track, the MRS, all these mini tours are popping up and the purses are going up. it has to be that we're really on the upswing right now with pavement modified racing. What does Matt Hirschman say?
Yeah, I would absolutely agree. To be honest, I think modified racing is the best it's been and the best place it's been in a long time. And I would say, based off of my memory and my through my dad's career and things like that, I believe it probably hasn't been this good since I'm going to say the late 80s, early 90s, in my opinion. And I think that it says a lot right now. I think we're really heading in the right direction, and some of the things we've already talked about, like the spring sizzler and things of what it has been in recent years and what it's going to be this coming season is a part of why I feel that way. And I'm, like I said, proud to be a part of it. Today's modified, call it the mod squad, of today. Certainly I'm one of the probably more recognizable names, and a part of that. And we're going to start that by, racing during Speed Weeks, New Smyrna. And that gets a lot of attention through Flow Racing and that, because, for the majority of the country, it's winter and there's nothing else going on. So everybody really tunes in that week. If you're not able to attend, it gets you get a great following, and like I said, we're just basically just continue to build this, and we're heading in the right direction.
And really, that's a great segue there, Matt, because explain again, we're kind of a dirt modified base show that we're starting to dabble into pavement and bringing, one of the best on it, I think, is a great way to start it. But Speed Weeks, now that it's on Flow Racing every night of the week, pretty much, different length races, 35 lappers, 50 lappers, 100 lappers, throw the tour in the mix. On top of having 7, 8, 9 other divisions racing, it's really the Super Bowl of short track racing to really get the season started, isn't it? It's
something every race fan or racer should experience at least once. It's really a unique event, and I do believe the modifieds put on the best show of the week, but there's a lot of racing that goes on there, and different forms and divisions. But I do say that with in my opinion, with a lot of confidence in what I'm saying. I believe modifieds are the show that week at New Smyrna, and like I said, we've had some great races and finishes and battles and things. And I really think, like I said, it's a must see or do, at some point for every race fan and team. And like I said, I think it shows in the numbers. The car counts have been real strong in recent years. And like I said, I'm seeing a big, interest level, gained in my racing and just modifieds in general. And I think Speed Weeks is a big part of that.
So what else does Matt Hirschman have planned for 2023? Where are we going to see you racing?
I mean, there's really no set plan, but I would say you're going to see something very similar to what you've seen in recent years. We're going to start out, with Speed Weeks. I'd like to, again, race some with the Smart Modified Tour, especially in the spring before racing starts up in the Northeast. And then when it does, locally, the Race of Champions opens their season at my closest track to home, Mahoning Valley. I believe that's on about April 8th, I think. And then, like I said, just a few weeks later, the Spring Sizzler is. And actually, the week prior to that, we have the held over Race of Champions 250 at Lake Erie from a rain postponement of 2022. So we're actually going to have 2 Race of Champions this year at Lake Erie Speedway. So there's a lot to look forward to just in the early part of the season, from February to April. There's a lot of big races. Normally you get a big race or 2 early in the season, but we're going to have a handful of them by the time we even get to into the warmer spring and summer months.
Well, Matt, we appreciate you taking some time to join us. So, of course, we're going to tune into Flow Racing, see you down at Speed Weeks and wherever that 60 car might unload, and wish you the best of luck. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Hey,
Yeah,
right.
thanks for having me, guys. Thanks for covering our sport, and like I said, look, I definitely encourage everyone to watch. Starting, I think it's February 11th with the Wheel & Tour, and then February 13th. That's Monday to Friday, starting with the 13th. And like I said, I think you'll be very pleased in what you see. I think we're going to put on some great races as we have in recent years.
Nice.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. I call him the original Big Money Matt Hirschman, joining us tonight on the Happy Hour. Thanks, Matt. Good luck this year.
All
Yeah,
right,
thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks.
All right.
And there he is. I'll tell you what, like I said, Billy Pouch Jr. is kind of the first thing that comes to my mind of a driver that, a famous racing dad that he kind of builds his own career and becomes his own man. Matt Hirschman is the same deal. And, Tony Hirschman, his dad, one of the all-time greats to ever drive a pavement modified. And I had a pretty cool experience. So Tony Hirschman, senior, I guess we call him, because junior is the spotter for Kyle Busch, which I think he's staying with Kyle. I should have asked Matt. Oh, well. But, my first race as the full-time pit road reporter at Stafford Motor Speedway was the Spring Sizzler of, I think it's 04. Man, that was a long time ago. But Tony Hirschman won it and had a great interview with him. I got to talk to him afterwards in the pit area and just was one of my favorites of all time. And I raced the Turkey Derby, which Matt mentioned. He's a frequent, I think he was winning the Turkey Derby the year I went and then broke late. But we were literally pitted right next to Matt Hirschman. And at the end of the night, Tony Hirschman came over and asked me how our night went. And like genuinely listened and cared. And I thought that was like the coolest thing. We didn't have the best of nights, but I was still like beaming ear to ear driving home. Like Tony Hirschman actually came over and asked how my night was. And I thought that was like the coolest thing. Which is awesome. And hats off to Woody. He's a great ambassador of the sport too, that, guys, tune into Flow Racing, watch these cars. They put on amazing shows, especially these open shows that it's literally in your face, fast action, 50, 80, 100 lap races that they go for broke with pit stops in between a lot of them too. Yeah. So they're a lot of fun to watch. And, the coolest thing that Flow Racing does is now that they cover all of it. They have Stafford Motor Speedway and a lot of the open races. They have the Smart Tour, all of those. They have the Wheel and Modified Tour. So as much as, you can watch all the cool dirt modified racing. And listen, I'm not crapping on dirt modified racing. I love dirt modified racing. I think it's awesome. But, you could watch equally as much great racing with the pavement guys on all these different series too, which I think is awesome. Yep.
All right. So we got Mary in the back. She's been patiently waiting, and I hope she yells at you when she gets on because
yells at me.
I didn't say much. You were doing all the talking. So.
Well, listen, you've been there more recently than I have. So listen, there are certain tracks that really define you. And for me personally, Poughkeepsie Speedway is a track that really defined my direction in racing. It used to be a dirt track. It was run by the Diot family, who, everybody in this area who ran go-karts knows the Diots. And then John Villano took it over out of Long Island. And, those Long Island guys are all pavement racers. And he paved the racetrack. So since it was the closest go-kart track for me to go race at when I was little, I started racing on pavement. And that's where my career kind of took off. I went east where everybody was going north. Wow. And, it's great to see revitalization of the racetrack, especially with the Dwights taking it over. And Mary's kind of been on the forefront. And, listen, Sam, her husband, my last year in go-karts, that kid was a pain in my ass like you wouldn't believe. He was a thorn in my side because I had pretty good success in pavement go-kart racing. And then this kid starts breathing down my neck. And I was like, I got to get out of here and go race stock cars because these damn kids are just
now
a pain in the ass.
And now it's the other kids. Now
right.
It just doesn't end, you know?
It never does. But let's get Mary on. Let's talk a little go-kart racing and see what's going on at the Poughkeepsie Speedway on Route 55.
We'll see how this works out. She messaged me, said she was nervous, so hopefully she don't go stuttering her words.
I got that that text message too.
All right, here goes nothing.
Hey guys.
There she is, Mary Dwy, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good.
Doing well. How are you?
I'm great.
Awesome.
I was just laughing with you talking about Sammy racing with you. That's funny to me because I met Sam after his go-karting experiences. He had kind of just got out of the dirt modified racing at Orange County. And he shared all that stuff. And he always said that, you know, he raced with a group of older guys and they couldn't stand him because he was good. So
yep.
I take exception to racing with older guys, but that's okay. I'm getting a partner. I'm looking in the mirror. I'm getting more gray hair every time I look in the mirror. So it's the funny thing, you know, that these kids that I saw when I was still racing there, you know, is like Justin Bonsignor, how many time NASCAR champion, Danny Creedon came down and raced with us. You know, all these names that have to start somewhere, right?
So that Bonsignor, see, I was wondering that because way back when my son raced go-karts there with Justin, but I didn't know if it was the same.
It's Bonsignor. Justin, yeah.
Oh wow, no kidding. Yeah. I was wondering that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, all these kids, and you know, they need a place to get going and get started, and Poughkeepsie Speedway is the place to do it. Mary, you got a great schedule this year. Tell us what you got going on.
Yeah, so I just wrote down some key points to you know, go over with you guys. So a little bit of backstory. I just became the promoter of Poughkeepsie Speedway back in August. You know, it's not something that I necessarily thought I would ever do, but the last promoter, she decided that it was something that she no longer wanted to do, and the track landowner had called me and asked to have a meeting with me. And, you know, I kind of walked out that night and this was all thrown in my lap. So that started in August last season. So it was a week to week, you know, and I'm learning as I'm going because I'm a go-kart mom and I've been around go-karting for about the last 4 years with my 3 sons. But running a track is a completely different animal. You know, there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of different personalities to work with. And one thing I have learned so far is that you're never going to make everybody happy at that track. So, you know, I am making the best decisions that I think are the right decisions for Poughkeepsie to see it flourish and grow. You know, but so we have some pretty cool things. My main focus is growing the classes and getting more kids involved in the sport. I think that the kids are, you know, the future of this sport. You know, we had a lot of little kids come at the end of last season that wanted to try out go-karting. So we got them into karts, you know, safety geared them all up. They went out for a couple laps and I actually have 3 of them whose moms have purchased them junior sportsmen and they're coming to race with me this season. And I really my main thing when I took it over as the promoter was I just know how much go-karting has done for my sons. You know, it's not just getting in a go-kart and racing and coming home on the weekend. It has teach the boys, you know, sportsmanship. It has teach them self-confidence. It's teach them how to communicate. You know, when they come off that track and they tell, you know, Dad, my kart's doing this or that, you know, they're learning as they're racing. It's not just racing. And I think one of the biggest things that it teaches kids is resilience. You know, you're not always going to win. And that goes for anything in life. So I think, you know, overall, I think that go-karting really helps children in many ways. I've had a lot of parents come to me and tell me, you know, how well their child's doing in school now because of the socialization they've had at the track and making new friends, which makes me feel awesome. We did start something new this year that I don't know if Poughkeepsie had prior, but I know the last 3 years they didn't. I started a membership, and I didn't want to be a club, but I thought having a membership fee for the year, it's $100 up front, and then every week you come to race, you have a discounted entry fee for your race fee. So in the end, you're going to be saving money. But I kind of figured from a track point of view, it's me guaranteeing, people racing for points and getting them there every week. Part of the membership, as well as discounted entry fee every week, is that you will be able to race for points. We will have points this year. And then at the end of the year, we will have a banquet. The points champion from each division is going to get like their own personalized jacket. They're going to get a photo book from us. They're going to get a free banquet ticket, a driver spotlight on our social media pages. And I started new membership cards, which I thought was cute. I don't know if the adults, but for the kids, I think it's really neat because I know my son, he carries his wallet everywhere. He's 10. And, he just loves pulling out little gift cards and stuff. So to have the little kids be able to have a little membership card
Listen,
in there.
I get excited every time my NASCAR membership card shows up every year.
Exactly.
I'm still the same way. Come on now.
Right. So I'm excited because I know that they're coming tomorrow. So that'll be cool. One of the most exciting things that I think is that we are returning the night series to Poughkeepsie Speedway this year. That was something that was done years ago. And I've had a lot of requests for night racing. People love to race at Poughkeepsie at night, and so what we're going to do is we're going to do it through the summer months, July and August. It's the best 5 out of 6 races. They're racing for a championship in the night series, for a large payout, trophies. And I think that'll be very neat. It'll be Saturday nights. We have mini cups coming back to the track this year, which I think is super cool because I haven't seen them there since I've been there in 4 years. I know that they were there in previous years.
I ran the last time they were ever there.
There you go. So
I
think
won it. Thank you.
I think it's very cool for them to come back. I know that a lot of the families at Poughkeepsie can't wait to see them on the track. One of my biggest things that I wanted to announce live, because I know a lot of people from Poughkeepsie are watching right now, is that I had been reached out to by a man by the name of Mike Adderley, and he owns Ultra Karting in Watertown, New York. And he had asked me if I would be interested in working with him in a sponsorship this season. So nobody knows about this. So everybody that's watching right now,
breaking
will know now.
News.
Yeah, breaking news from Poughkeepsie Speedway. We are starting a juice box division at Poughkeepsie Speedway, which I know most karters know about. It's down south. From 3 to 5 years of age, they come to the track. Ultra Karting is supplying our first 6 karts, and they will be wrapped in Ultra Karting's logos. So really all these kids have to do is show up with their parents with a helmet, sign a waiver, and they can get on the track and race. It's a 1-lap heat race, a 2-lap feature, and that will be a division for us every week. The other exciting news with Ultra Karting is that we are going to have a new parts shed or parts department at Poughkeepsie, which we haven't had in the last couple of years. And Mike is going to be supplying, parts, tires. He's going to start us off with 20 sets of brand new Vegas, so that people can buy them at the tracks and save shipping costs. We're also going to stock little things like, floats and gears and chains, stuff that when you're at a big race, if it breaks and you don't have it, then you can just come over and purchase it. I think the biggest thing with the tires is that, our members are going to be able to save on shipping costs. And I know that shipping cases of tires isn't cheap because I do it for my 3 sons all the time and it's a lot of money. So that's really neat. What else? We have some themed events, which I started doing when I took it over at the end of last year. And the whole reason that I did themed events was, first and foremost, obviously Poughkeepsie is about racing. That's why we're there. But we did a couple things where, we did a Halloween themed race and the kids got to dress up in costumes and they got to trick or treat before our drivers meeting. They got trophies for best costumes. And like the parents after that weekend were writing me and telling me, my kid wouldn't stop talking about this for the full week. So like, I'm all about kids. And I really think that making their Saturday at the track, most of them are little, and, dad's wrenching on the karts and I want to give them something to do, and to be able to create those friendships and bonds with their competitors. So we have a couple of cool themed events. Our first race, our opening race is around Easter time. So we're going to have, an Easter bunny there where the kids can take pictures. We're going to do an egg hunt. And the public is welcome to all these events as well. So last season, I did a Power Wheels race and it brought in a lot of people that had nothing to do with go-karting. They just brought their little kids in with their Power Wheels and, they had a blast. We will be doing, I didn't put it on our schedule because I just don't know exactly what races yet it's going to be, but we will have money shows throughout the season. I
There's
also
also
was
a
gonna,
Northeast karting event coming up there too, right?
yeah. So the Northeast Karting Series is going to be at our track on Saturday, June 17th. We're looking forward to them being there. My sons they ran that series last year, and we had a blast. Not only racing different tracks, it gave them, I always tell them, you can race Poughkeepsie over and over again, and they might think they're the best of the best, but go to another track and I want to see you win. So they need to learn that dynamic that you need to, be able to adjust yourself and learn how to adjust at a different track. So I think that series is great. Mark Warnock does a wonderful job, and I'm excited to have him back this season. Another thing I wanted to mention is that our starter flagger, Doug Brown, he was with us this last season. He kind of hinted that he was going to go into retirement, but me and him have been talking the last couple days, and he has committed to be there for all of our races. And I couldn't be more thankful because Mr. Doug has been nothing but supportive of Poughkeepsie for years, and especially supportive of me taking over. I almost look at him like a mentor. He knows a lot more about racing than I do. He's been doing this for years. He's dedicated to the sport, and he's dedicated to the racers and just making sure everybody stays safe. And we're really, really happy to have him back with us this year. I don't know. I'm super excited for the season. We have lots of cool things that are going to be happening, and I just hope that my main goal obviously is to build our car counts. When I took over in August, the car counts were down pretty low. And then by the end of November, we did see them growing. They're not where I want them to be. So it's going to take time. I've been doing my best with social media and advertising and, reaching out and working with different sponsors. We do have another very big sponsor. I can't announce yet, but it will be coming soon on Poughkeepsie's page. We're working out the final details for that. But yeah, I'm just excited. I never thought as a go-kart mom that I'd be running a track. But I have to say, I do have the full support of, my husband, Sam. He's very much involved. I like to call him the race director, if that's what you want to call him. But he has to be in the pits because we do have 4 kids racing this year. So his time is kind of consumed by that. But every decision that we make for the track, we make together. And I value his opinion because, as you know, he raced many years of his life and he's been around this a lot longer than me. So, but as a family, me, Sam, and the kids, The kids help. I put them to work from August to November, man. They were working their tails off at that track. So, it really has brought our family together. And I see the same thing with, other families at the track. I always say this to my mom or my relatives. I never thought that my 16, 14, 13, and 10-year-old would want to be with me as much as they do. They want to be with mom and dad because they want to go racing and they like the atmosphere. And, it just, I don't know. I just think racing is, it brings families together and I love it. So, I'm here to stay for as long as Mr. Wayne, the landowner, will let me keep running it. And I'm excited about the future for Poughkeepsie. I think there's going to be lots of great things.
Mary, how does everybody get some information on Poughkeepsie Speedway? Where can they find you on Facebook? Where's the website? Get everybody that information.
Yeah, so you can find us on Facebook at Poughkeepsie Speedway. If you go on Facebook, our website link is there. Our website, I actually just updated some stuff. So we have our full schedule, we have our race rules, we have our classes, we have some driver profiles up, pictures, videos. I will be keeping track of all points. So most of our races are on Saturday. So every Monday morning points will be updated so people can keep track of that. And then we do have an Instagram, which is Poughkeepsie Speedway as well. So pretty much type in Poughkeepsie Speedway on any platform and you'll find it.
Yeah, I just want to say the change. Like, obviously, my daughter raced there over the summer months, and the changes that are going on there are obviously for the best, and they're phenomenal. And obviously, you and Sam, you guys do a great job there. I was stumped that you guys switched it to Saturdays. I lost the Sundays, but but even before, it was funny because me and Sam talked before you guys even took it over of like what to make to make it go, and
sure.
It's just amazing how quick that you guys are moving on, weekly racing, stuff like that. That's what Poughkeepsie needed, because Poughkeepsie was more to me like, okay, we're bored this week, let's go racing. You know what I mean? So now everybody knows they got a schedule, you got a membership, you're able to race for points. And I'm a big proponent of Poughkeepsie. I always tell people, go try it out. The place, you'll be surprised. The atmosphere there, you guys are great. And anybody that's listening that's thinking about going to race Poughkeepsie, 100% go do it. It's great people, great atmosphere, great fun.
Thank you so much, Gary. I remember the first time you came to the track with Michaela, right? That's your daughter's name?
Yep.
I remember that you had a motor issue and Sam was helping you to try to get her on the track. And I said, I really hope the Predmores come back. And I didn't realize that I conflicted with your schedule. But we do have one Sunday race in there this weekend. And we do have 6 Saturday night races. But I hope that you guys can make it over at some point. We'd love to see you back there.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Yeah, it would be fun. But like I said, my main focus is just growing the classes. I have had a lot of requests from multiple racers, especially ones that used to race Poughkeepsie when it was dirt, asking me if I'm going to bring dirt back. And the answer to that is yes. We are going to do a dirt track again. I cannot promise you when that's going to happen. I'm in the middle of kind of trying to figure out what I'm going to do because the situation is, I don't own the land. So it's purchasing the land, which I'm very interested in doing. It's just getting it to the right numbers, and figuring out a way to do that. I don't know whether we're going to put a dirt track on the outside property because there is enough room, or as Andy knows, there was always a dirt track inside the asphalt. So, I'm thinking that might be a better option because the clay is still there. But that is something that will come in the future. I know that it will bring a lot of racers. I've talked to many of them that have already told me, if you put dirt back there, we'll be there every week. So that is something that will happen in the future for Poughkeepsie. But I'm just super excited. Like I said, I'm a real estate agent and I just came to the races to help my sons and be supportive. So being thrown kind of into this position was a whirlwind for me, and I'm still learning. I learn every day. I learn something, whether it's about go-karts themselves and gearing or rules, or how to run the track. And, so I love it. I do love it. And like I said, the main reason I'm doing it is for the kids, because when they leave there, to see the smile on their faces that they got a trophy. And, I have to mention one little boy. I have, a couple of them, but I have a little boy. He races in my rookie class, and he's moving up to junior, to the purple plate class in the junior sportsman this year. And every time he wins a trophy, that kid brings the trophy everywhere with him. He brings it to school. He eats dinner with it. He sleeps in bed with it. And,
I've
to
done
be able, to be able to give them, that sense of self-confidence and pride that, what, I went out there and I won this weekend. That, to me, that's all I need leaving that track, So, yeah, I don't know. I'm super excited. And I have a question though for Mr. Andy.
Uh-oh.
Sam actually told me to ask you. He says, you need to ask Mr. Andy if he'll ever come back to Poughkeepsie to announce for us for a race or two, because we would love it.
I think we can make that work. I got a pretty busy schedule, but I think we could find a race or two and make it happen for sure. But Gary got to come and do it with me.
I would love it. Both of you. Yeah, I would love it. That would be awesome.
We'll make it happen. I'll look at my calendar. I'm racing like everything everywhere this year, but we'll make it happen.
Yeah, we have a lot. We're racing 3 times a week, or 3 times a month now. So I did add. We have a full schedule for Poughkeepsie this year. Last year it wasn't. It was kind of here and there. So we wanted to make sure we had a full schedule for people to be able to get as much racing in throughout the season as they can. And the points, there's 12 points races, but there is 2 drops. So we did that, for people that want to take vacation, or God forbid there was an emergency. We want to be fair to everybody. But yeah, I think it's going to be a great season. So.
Well, we look forward to seeing how it plays out, Mary. I think you're doing an awesome job, and you definitely got a lot of promoter lingo down already, which I think is awesome. So best of luck to you and Sam. Tell Sam I said hello. He's still a pain in my ass. And we'll make it happen. We'll get to a race or two this year for sure. And best of luck to everything at Poughkeepsie this year.
Thank you guys so much. And thank you so much for asking me to come on to shed some light on Poughkeepsie. It was really, I'm honored. So thank you guys so much.
Not a problem. We'll see Poughkeepsie Speedway 2023 and Mary Dwy at the helm doing an awesome job, and Juice Box Division's partner. You and me got to go race a juice box somehow.
Absolutely.
Or have a couple juice boxes, one or the other. All right, Mary. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, guys. You have a great evening.
You too. All
Bye-bye.
right. Mary Dwy, the promoter of the Poughkeepsie Speedway partner, and I'll tell you, she's doing an awesome job. Timmy Salamino was another name. Thank you, Sam. I was checking through my notes there of drivers that come up, and there's young drivers that are racing there right now that in 10, 20 years we can say is the next late great awesome national touring driver name, like Jackson the Mayor, who I know is listening right now. He could be our next Joey Logano kind of thing. Right. So. Poughkeepsie's awesome. Like I said, there's tracks that kind of shape you. For me, Poughkeepsie Speedway was that track because of John Villano paving it, sent me on my path to go pavement racing. So, and had a lot of fun there. And I think, every track I think almost needs like a Mary Dwy type, because she gets it from mom's side of view, which I think can really grow the sport. And I'm looking to see really, really great things at Poughkeepsie, partner. And we got to get over there. We got to go do something.
No, like I said, I had a blast when we were racing there. It's just they switched to Saturdays. That just was tough, with the dirt racing deal. But I like the place. It's a great place. The environment's good, and the passion that Mary has for the place is second to none.
I agree, 110%. Well, that brings us to the final call, and holy cow, we had an extended happy hour. Thank you, everybody, for kind of sticking with us.
It's like being at the bar, you know what I mean?
That's
happy
it.
hour
Listen,
never ends.
You talk racing, you just keep going, and we had some great guests tonight with Woody, Matt, and Mary. Real quick, we were going to touch on it here on Last Call. Orange County Fair Speedway put out its schedule. Somebody called that. Thank you. And, you know, kind of, how do I put this? I think it's a racer friendly schedule. But there's been a lot of scuttlebutt you see online of, you know, divisions not racing every single week, except the sportsman division, which seems to be racing every single week.
Yeah.
I mean, you looked at it, partner. What's your thoughts on it?
Yeah. I didn't know what to make of it. You know, I mean, I guess it definitely helps the guys that are really out there racing. There's only, 6 big block races, maybe 6 or 7. Yeah, I don't really know what to make of it, to be honest with you. You know, rookie sportsman and street stocks every week. You know, I don't know if it comes down. I mean, my first thought, you know, the sportsman pack the pits, street stocks 2025. You know, is it a way of them trying to recoup some money? I don't know. They're not really paying them. You know what I mean? It's just I looked at it in so many different ways to try to figure it out. You know, so I mean, and to me, if this is the last year of racing at Orange County, that's kind of disappointing. You know, to put a schedule like that together. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to bash them, but you know, there's a reason for it, I guess.
Right, and that's what I was going to kind of get to my point there. It just comes down to dollars and cents, right? You know, Chris Larson is where he is because he's a smart businessman. If
Absolutely.
You're paying the big blocks every week, $3,500 to win, whatever it is. I think it was up to like $2,000, $2,500 at some point, $3,000,
right.
Something around there. And, you know, the fan support just isn't there.
Right.
You know, that money has to come from somewhere. And yes, you said it, there's 40 sportsmen every week.
Yep. Right.
So of course they're going to be on the schedule every week, and you know, we'll see how many rookie sportsmen there are. My plan is to go race the rookie sportsman this year, with Joe in the 4 New York car. So we'll be there and we'll find out firsthand for sure. You know, street stocks, I think, have more races this year, which they've been asking for. And you know, small block modifieds, but you know, I say racer friendly because I think that's the way we're going though. The racing 25, 30 times, you know, a year, that's starting to go away for a lot of guys. You know, it's like Woody Pitkat talked about it. His kids are getting older. He cut his racing back. He used to race, you know, when Thompson ran Wednesday nights, Friday nights, Saturdays, any tour race on Sunday, you know, but now it's like, you know, I know I'm going to do upwards of 30, 40 races this year, but my situation's changed to where I can do that. But for, you know, guys that are, you know, with a family, with you know, kids and stuff, to be able to say, all right, I get to race, you know, 7, 8, 9 times and still do family vacations and still do, you know, stuff away from the racetrack, you know, that you weren't able to do that, you know, back in the day. So, I get it. I understand it from a lot of people, but listen, get out and support the racetrack. Stop your whining online. Whatever's racing, go there and watch it race.
Yeah, and what hurts, you know, and you've seen a couple guys say it, is what's the purpose of owning a big block now? You know what I mean? Because, you know, there's really not. Somebody commented or put something on Facebook, and I think big blocks are going to be a thing of the past. Personally, I think the big blocks are going away. And I think the big open small blocks, you know, like the Deo deal and stuff like that. I just think, you know, I think the big blocks are going to be a thing of the past here real soon.
I don't disagree. Speaking about Orange County real quick, got to mention it. Thursday night coming up, the 20, what's Thursday? 26th, 27th, somewhere around there, whatever Thursday night is. You know, the Penguin Plunge charity event going on at the Palisades Mall at the Autobahn Raceway. Peter Cracker Reynolds, who's a friend of the show, friend of everybody in motorsports. Trust me, if you're around dirt modified racing around our area, you know who Crackers is for sure. They got a great thing going on. You know, check Orange County's website. I know they have the information up, or the Facebook page does. And you can find Crackers online really easy. Get out there and support that event. They got Anthony Perego, Brett Hearn, Tommy Meyer, Tim or Tom Heinley, I forget which one, maybe both, who knows. I think I said Bobby Slate was racing, so if he's not, Robbie, you are now. So get out there and support it. Make a donation. The events at the Yard House, the after parties at the Yard House, I should say, and get out there and support that event. Speed Weeks is coming up, as Matt Hirschman mentioned. We got a couple young guns heading down there. The Rogelski boys, both Evan and Brian. Looking forward to watching them. They're going to go down and race in the 602 modified or sportsman modified or something modified that they call it, not the tour races, whatever it is, which is something that they've done the last couple of years. Awesome to see. The Rogelski boys, I know them from Poughkeepsie, from racing Bandoleros, seeing them both jump up into the bigger cars. Brian going pavement modified racing first, and then Evan doing great things in fender stuff. He got a ride, took the fenders off, so they're both heading down to New Smyrna here in next couple days, next couple weeks, whatever, and doing a great thing. So good luck to them. And yeah, a lot of things going on. It's race season. It's here.
It's there. It is definitely here. And you figure, 2 weeks? It'd be February, first week of February down there in Florida. A lot of stuff going on there.
And away we go.
And it doesn't stop. That's it. Once it starts rolling, it doesn't stop. No breaks.
Well, we had a great show tonight, partner. We got another great show next week. We're going to be Wednesday, February 1st, where I don't have a basketball practice, so I should be here nice and on time and not flying in here last minute. But 2 great guests once again next week. We have the Ginger Ninja coming, Jack Lehner. We're going to talk to Jack about all he has coming up for 2023, and a driver who's coming out of retirement this season, driving for the Moody Mile Motorsports. The Poltley Flash himself, Dave Camara, is going to join us. So 2 great dirt modified drivers going to talk some dirt modified racing with us next week on the Happy Hour. Hopefully everybody can join us. Thank you everybody for joining us this week. I know we went a little bit long. We're going to try to keep it to an hour every week, but we just had too much good stuff going on here tonight, partner.
It's not bad when you got good conversations and good talks.
That's
you don't mind going over.
Look forward to another good talk next week.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. For, let's see, Woody Pitkat, Matt Hirschman, Mary Dwy, and my partner, Gary Predmore, Andy Crane signing off for the Happy Hour. Thank you for joining us, everyone. We'll see you next Wednesday night, February 1st.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Good night, everybody.